And we welcome to the show for his monthly visit, Congressman Scott Perry. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, RJ, happy summer. There's a lot going on, even if it's not about, picnics and going to the beach and all that stuff. The world just continues to turn. And, of course, in a presidential year, a lot of drama.
Well, no doubt about it. And I have this note from you saying that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris gave $208 million in taxpayer funded grants to a top member of the Communist Party. Tell us about this.
Well, it's the grant programs that come through Congress that don't get much scrutiny, and they're included in these other bills that have a million things in them. And, if it's not the Communist Party, it's some other version of something that most people would find objectionable. It's not usually named something like the Communist Party or Antifa, but that's where those things go to. And it's oftentimes people say, well, why did you vote no on the, it's ice cream and puppies day bill? And it's because it has things like that. They typically have things like that in them. And it's just an indicator of where this administration will send your tax dollars, because they're, not only is there little scrutiny, but it's literally it's the kind of thing that they want to do. That's what the goal is. That is what the fundamental changing of America looks like. And if you're having a hard time paying your electricity bill or your grocery bill or your bill at the gas pump, you can thank the folks that take your money and spend it on those kind of things. That's what makes all that more expensive, and of course doesn't go towards making life more affordable or better for you.
We keep also hearing about the grant that was given to put in charging stations. I believe it was somewhere in the Midwest, and we ended up with a grand total of 8 of them. Now, I haven't researched that, but it seems to me that we're throwing a lot of money into electric cars. I don't begrudge anyone from having one. If you want an electric car, have one. I don't want to pay 1 cent towards it.
Well, I agree with you, RJ. That was part of what was so-called the Inflation Reduction Act. And huge subsidies for electric charging stations, electric vehicles, all things electric, to move us to essentially an electric-dominated energy economy. And they're doing that because the market, consumers, people generally don't want them. I agree with you. If you want an electric vehicle and you want to go to the charging station and all that stuff, God bless you. This is America. You should be able to do that. But here's the other thing, RJ. I or you, those people who don't want to have one, shouldn't have to pay for it. We didn't have to pay for the gas stations except when we bought gasoline from the companies that made the gas stations. But in this new paradigm, government, your tax dollars, pay for essentially the gas station, because an electric vehicle charging station is, it's the equivalent, if you're driving an electric vehicle, of a gas station. And in the past, investors paid for these things, and the companies, the oil companies, paid for these things. If you go down the highway and see a gas station, that wasn't paid for generally by tax dollars. That was paid for by investors who saw fit to make money because they knew gasoline was going to be profitable. Good for them and good for us. But yeah, we've spent these billions and billions of dollars and gotten almost absolutely nothing for it.
Earlier, Holly and I were talking about why Kamala Harris is not doing interviews, and we both have the same conclusion, and that is they have nothing. They have nothing. You can't point to one thing that they have said, or one thing in our economy that looks good, or struggles around the world and all that. They have nothing. That's why she's not doing interviews.
Well, what they have is this economy that people are struggling with every day. I mean, people are paying for their groceries with their credit cards. RJ, that's not a good plan. It lasts for a little while, but sooner or later, those bills are going to come due.
Yeah.
And the Harris-Biden team doesn't want to talk about that at all, obviously, or the Harris-Walz team, same thing. And so, the only thing they have is that they hate former president, future president, Donald Trump. And, you can say that about as fast as I just said it, and then the interview could be over because that's what they're running on. That's the only thing they really have. It's not foreign policy. It's not the economy. It's not border security or national security. It's not local safety and with crime. It's none of those things because they're responsible for the bad parts of all of them, and they don't really want to talk about them. And, of course, if you elect them, I mean, the vice president was asked recently in some interview about the economy and inflation, and all she did was took the time to mansplain whoever asked her the question what inflation is. We know what it is. We're paying the prices at the grocery store. Yeah. We want to know what's going to be different about the next administration that's going to change it. And, of course, nothing's going to be different.
No, nothing would be different. In fact, it would be, if anything, a clearing the way to do even more of what they've been doing. So what else is going on in your corner of the world that we're not hearing too much about?
Well, of course, we're getting ready to, September, the end of September, RJ, is the end of the federal fiscal year. And, of course, the Senate has done nothing to prepare for the spending impasse that we have. The House has passed half the bills, but we still have half to do. The Democrats won't help. The only time they'll help with spending is if you're spending more. So they're not interested in reducing any of what's causing this $35 trillion in debt we have, and we'll be at 36 here before the end of the year. Every 100 days, we add another $1 trillion onto it. And so that's coming at the end of September. And what people like me are saying is, first of all, no more omnibus from Chuck Schumer, where they throw everything in it, like the grant program you talked about originally. And if you don't vote for it, you're accused of shutting down the government. We don't want to do that. And we're also saying when we do the spending package in September, whatever it is, let's put the SAVE Act on it. And if you don't know what the SAVE Act is, it's passed by the House of Representatives, and it says that if you're going to vote in the United States and you're going to vote in the states or territories, you must be an American citizen. Now, the Democrats do not want to. They wouldn't vote for it. They don't want to have that requirement. And, of course, it already generally is a requirement, but the states don't often enforce it. They enforce it by having the person that signs their voter registration form vouch for themselves. That's how it's enforced. But we're saying that you have to prove American citizenship if you're going to vote in this presidential election. That's essentially what the SAVE Act does. And we're saying that should be passed in September, along with a reasonable spending bill that all sides have come to that actually reduces this runaway spending at the federal level. That's what I'm working on right now.
Well, and I agree with you on that. Bonnie was telling me, my wife was telling me about some of the questions on the application for a mail-in ballot, and seems flimsy at best to me. A driver's license number and all that. Well, heck, many illegal aliens get driver's licenses, so then it comes down to who's checking it when it comes in, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And do you think that the people at voter registration in the election office at the county have time to go through every registration to check to see if someone is here illegally or not? And I'm not sure that they would even be told that information. When people come here, RJ, I've asked because, we've had busloads of people in the past come, that have been dropped off in central Pennsylvania. And I've asked, Immigration and Naturalization, Homeland Security. They tell me and us that we don't have the right or need to know. So literally, the only way that they determine citizenship on that application is the person signs it and says, I'm a citizen. And
right.
know that we have motor voter in Pennsylvania. So when you get a driver's license, and Governor Shapiro has said that all these folks that are here illegally can get a driver's license at the very same time they're registered to vote if they want to be. And And when you're here illegally and you're getting a driver's license, if somebody throws a form in front of you and says, "Here, sign this. It's your voter registration." You're not going to argue. You want your license and you want to get the heck out of there, I suppose. So we don't really know, and no one knows. And that's what the SAVE Act says, is that you must be a citizen to vote in these federal elections in the United States. And there's, I don't know why my colleagues on the other side of the aisle oppose it. But I hope that we get to ask that question at some point, because I can see no good reason why we would oppose that.
Yeah, I wish someone would ask Kamala that. All right. Well,
yeah. Right.
Yeah. All right. Congressman Scott Perry, always a pleasure to get an update from you. Be safe out there and traveling, and we'll speak with you soon.
God bless you. Have a safe summer.
God bless you. You too. Congressman Scott Perry.